Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita sessions. Every Sunday we meet at 11 a.m. and we discuss based on some topic from Bhagavad Gita and a particular verse, but a few series of verses, and how what is happening in Bhagavad Gita at that point of time in terms of the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, and how those instructions, those verses are important from our life standpoint, the practical application standpoint. So we try and cover and discuss some of these aspects and learn something that we can apply in our day-to-day life and benefit out of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Any knowledge, if it does not benefit, doesn't have any practical application and benefit, then that knowledge is not knowledge. And the Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the most relevant knowledge because it has direct application in our life. So we will see how best we can apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita into our life and can get benefited out of it. That's the goal of our discussion. Starting with the first verse, so we discussed some of these. So we started on the topic called Transcend with Bhakti. That was the topic that we picked up for last Sunday. We couldn't quite complete that topic. We had a long call last Sunday. We went through multiple verses, series of verses, and so what we'll do is, in the initial few minutes, we will do a quick recap of what we did last Sunday. 7 days have gone, 6 days have gone, and it's a considerable amount of time that has gone. So it's important that we recap what we do, what we did, and then we move on from where we left. and we'll hopefully try to complete all the this particular PPT deck on today's session. So we were in discussion prior to last Sunday also. We were discussing series of verses in the 10th chapter. These are called Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. In the 4 verses, our acharyas explain that the meaning of all 700 verses is packed. जो 700 श्लोकों में बताया गया है, जो नेक्टर है भगवद गीता का, जो अल्टीमेट मैसेज है, वो इन 4 श्लोकों में पैक किया गया है. इसके लिए इन 4 श्लोकों को बोलते हैं चतुर्श्लोकी भगवद गीता. ये श्लोक आते हैं 10वें अध्याय में, 10th chapter. 8, 9, 10, and 11. These 4 verses contain the description is the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So if you study these 4 verses, it is as good as studying the entire Bhagavad Gita. So it's that these 4 verses are that, are that potent. So the first verse, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvitaha. So we also discuss about the sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. Sambandha, Krishna. Sambandha is the person with whom we want to establish relationship. Who is the subject matter of our discussion, our focus? Who is that person? That person is Krishna. And Krishna bring upon himself in the course of discussion with Arjuna. He bring up himself and establishes that he is the worthy object of for pursuing for all the living entities. He is the object to be achieved, and that comes through various verses, through various chapters, progressively, especially starting from 7th chapter onwards till where we are, 10th chapter. The progressively Krishna establishes himself as the worthy object of worship. And then why? Because of his greatness, because he is the source of everything, because he is the creator of everything. So this verse speak about the first line in this verse speak about sambandha jnana. Sambandha is Krishna, process is bhakti, buddha bhava samanvitaha, wise practice devotional service or bhakti, perform bhakti with all whole in a wholehearted manner. Bhava samanvitaha, buddha are the intelligent people. So knowing my greatness, intelligent people perform devotional service wholeheartedly. And this is the, and they This is the abhideya. This is the process of bhakti, is the action that one take to achieve our object. Once we set our object, what we do to achieve that object is abhideya. And abhideya, our acharyas tell us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, is process of bhakti, process of hearing and chanting, process of deity worship, process of remembrance of Krishna, process of serving devotees and serving Krishna, process of visiting dham, process of offering bhoga and accepting prasad. So the various different anga of bhakti, different processes of bhakti, navavidha bhakti, are the process using which we can go closer to our objective. Our objective is to be achieved by following the process of bhakti. But what do we do after that? We we want to love our object. We want to express, we want to experience loving exchanges with our object of love. So that is Krishna prem, the love of God. That is our ultimate prayojan. We want to experience exchange of nectarian rasas with our object. Now getting object is one thing, and then experiencing joy in exchange of rasa is another thing. And that is our ultimate prayojan. So tesham satata yukta machitta madgata prana budhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The tushyanti cha ramanti cha is that is the ultimate prayojan, that we want to be happy, we want to be pleased, we want to enjoy discussing Krishna Katha with devotees, fellow devotees, and that's the ultimate prayojan that we wish to relish. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So yena mam upayantite, we heard, is Krishna's plan for all the living entities, for all the souls. This is Krishna's plan, and we say that often, that we should align ourselves with God's plan. So, but we don't know what is God's plan. But here Krishna reveals his plan. Krishna says, Yena mam upayantite, this is my plan by which they can come to me. Now, this is what Krishna desires. Krishna wants us to come back to him, go back to him. Yena mam upayantite, for enabling this, what is required? Krishna says, I will give you additional intelligence, I will give you buddhi, dadami buddhi yogam tam. Use additional intelligence that I am providing to come back to me. Now Krishna, does he give it indiscriminately to each and everyone? Krishna says, no, without you desiring for it, I will not give it. So tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. So those who worship me with priti, with lovingly worship me, they are desiring for it, and then I give them that additional intelligence by which they can come to me. Now that additional intelligence, so it is a subjective. Krishna does not want to force all the living entities to come back to him by force. Now that is not, that there is no love, there is no he maintains the free will that he had himself has given to all the living entities, and exercising that free will, when a soul choose to worship Krishna with love, always satata yuktanam, not that occasionally, always engage in worshipping Krishna, by following all the different methods of hearing, chanting, worshipping, deity worshipping, temple visiting, dham visiting, prasad eating, and different ways, serving devotees, uh, glorifying Krishna, hearing Krishna Katha by various means. When devotee choose to remain engaged in serving Krishna, bhajatam priti purvakam, in a loving, affectionate way, then Krishna says, I'm willing to even give them additional intelligence using which they can come to me. So they can come to me is the bottom line. That's the ultimate objective with which Krishna has set up this whole program. And Krishna further explains that he destroy tama from the hearts of those people by lighting shining lamp of knowledge, and thereby the darkness born out of ignorance goes away, and then those people with who are enlightened, those people, those devotees who are enlightened, then they remain fixed in worshiping Krishna, fixed in they remain committed in worshiping Krishna. They don't go away when their purpose is fulfilled, when their material desires are fulfilled. They don't go away. They continue worshiping Krishna wholeheartedly. So this is Krishna's plan. This is what he reveals. Then we saw a couple of then what we are now contrasting is condition of Arjuna. So Arjuna at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita was overwhelmed with compassion. He was crying, sitting in the chariot, and he was describing his position that I am not able to stand on my feet. My limbs are quivering, and the whole body. Mouth is drying up, the limbs of my body are quivering, whole body is trembling, the hair is standing on its end, my bow gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. This is his condition. He is not able to stand on his 7 feet, and hence he sit down. Now physically he is perfectly all right. He is the same Arjuna who was a champion warrior who single-handedly won against the same Kuru army in the Virat Yuddha. In the while protecting Virat Raj, when they attack Kuru army, attack Virat Raj, Arjuna single-handedly defeats everyone. He doesn't kill them, but he defeats everyone. And he's the same Arjuna. Physically he's not depleted. He has the same prowess. He has the same might. He has all the shastra, astra, and whatever that he had everything. However, currently he's describing his position that he said, "Na yotsa iti Govindam." I cannot fight in this condition, O Govinda. So the full of compassion, mind depressed, eyes full of tears. This was his condition at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. This comes predominantly in the first chapter and beginning of fourth chapter. And then 10.12, 13, and 14, 15 describes different Arjuna, now transformed Arjuna, change that is visible now in the Arjuna. Now that Arjuna which we saw in the initial verses was changed to this Arjuna. Now how does this Arjuna look like? So this Arjuna is saying that you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. The great sages such as Narada, Ashta, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and only you are declaring it unto me. I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither demigods nor demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Indeed, you alone know yourself, your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all being, God of all gods, Lord of the universe. Now he's one after another. He's glorifying Krishna. He's the one who was crying is now glorifying Arjuna. The same Arjuna is now glorifying Krishna after having heard shlokas, verses from 2.11 till 10.11. Yeah, between 2.11 and 10.11, whatever Krishna has predominantly spoken between this period, having heard this, Arjuna has been transformed, and now he's speaking like a devotee. He's become devotee of Krishna. He's still not lifted his Gandiva. He's still not yatra. He's not dhanurdhara. He's not yet holding he's not yet lifted his Gandiva. That comes in the 78th verse of 18th chapter, where where Sanjay describes that wherever there is Yogeshwara Krishna, there is Dhanurdhara Arjun. So that description comes on the 78th verse of 18th chapter. So till then he has not lifted his Gandiva. However, there is a significant transformation which has happened in Arjuna, which is visible. Now, visibly, somebody who was crying, he's now seems to be very, in order to speak like this, you need to have very peaceful mind, very calm, composed mind in which you can speak these glorifying words for Krishna. So mentally, Arjuna seems to have recovered. Now, he's still not ready to fight. He's still not declared that Karishye Vachanam Tava, which comes in the 73rd verse of 18th chapter. We still have significant road to cover, more question answer to happen, and a lot of important verses and a lot of important chapters to be covered in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is not yet over, but this transformation on Arjuna is very significant, and that's what is going to be the topic of our discussion today. That bhakti force change. Bhakti, following process of bhakti, will induce change in us. Just like we see caterpillar becoming butterfly. The butterflies, we see different stages that a butterfly goes through and ultimately becomes butterfly and fly out. So what we did is we are now trying to take a look at few verses from this portion that Krishna spoke on between 2.11 and 10.11. We are going to pick up few verses from this section of Bhagavad Gita and try to understand how what Arjuna would have learned from these verses, which he believed, if applied in his life, will give him good, nice discrimination. He becomes intelligent because it's knowledge. So with knowledge, he's going to become intelligent. If he apply that knowledge into his life, he's going to become more peaceful. So more peace of mind. This Arjuna, which is speaking in the 10th chapter, glorifying Krishna with various descriptions, beautiful descriptions, is much more peaceful than what we saw at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. So this transformation is not only at the physical level. Now he stopped crying. Obviously, he's not crying here. He's not claiming to witness all those physical problems that he had described in the first chapter, that this is, my mouth is drying up. Now he has not drank water in between. Now, but having heard Krishna speak, he is feeling calm. He is feeling peaceful. He is feeling much more. He's in much better physical and mental condition than what he was at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. So what is it that we can take from these verses which can make us calm, compose, and happy? And so that is what that was the topic of our discussion last Sunday. And we went through few series of verses. We will quickly touch upon these, and then we will move on with further verses. So mostly we followed the process of a group discussion, where we were allowing everyone to unmute and speak. We will today try to follow raise of hand method when we move on to the next set of verses. So we'll try and raise hands rather than jumping in with conversation, so that we can equally get opportunity. We can give opportunity for everyone to speak. Now, there is a theme, and then there are some individual verses. So you can generally, now all these teachings at our current level we might not have applied fully in our life, which is fine, which is why we are learning every Sunday. We are meeting and trying to discuss Bhagavad Gita every Sunday. Had we all perfected our lives, we would not we are not required to be part of this class. We could very well be doing other things. Other things means worshipping Krishna, of course, because once you learn about Krishna sufficiently, you cannot help but surrender to Krishna. You cannot help but worship Krishna. You cannot help but accept Krishna as your Ishvara, as your as your Prananatha, as Radharani describes him. So that you are my Prananatha. No matter what you do with me, you will continue to be my Prananatha. So that can become our condition if we learn Bhagavad Gita properly. So we'll start with this slide now. We have discussed all this, so we'll not spend too much time. We'll just touch upon these slides to basis the theme that to make sure that those who are attending for the first time, they are able to cope up with the discussion. So the first slide, gives you series of verses from second chapter, which focuses on give up attachment to the temporary, which is body. body. We are all attached to body and our bodily duties, our bodily enjoyments, and bodily relationships. These are the subject matter of associated with our body. So as long as we have body, we have bodily duties. As long as we have body, we have bodily relationships. And our using our body, we can have some enjoyments. So the body becomes a subject. And Krishna is saying that body is temporary. So all that you are pursuing through using your body are also temporary. Your relationships are temporary, your enjoyments are temporary, and the whole body itself is temporary. So what's the point in worrying too much about the body? So worry about what is eternal. So he brings out the difference between what is eternal, what is temporary. And again, in our day-to-day life, we can apply this in our life. And we heard few through some of the examples how people could understand people when these verses were explained, especially in the when somebody leaves their body in our relationship or in our amongst our friends, and people are overcome with grief. People are crying, people are very sad, feel sad about person who has left his body. And then so these verses actually, if we know this, if we have this knowledge, and by Krishna's mercy we can recollect this knowledge at that moment of sorrow, at that moment of distress, we can immediately feel relief. We can immediately feel relief ourselves. We can actually give relief to others. This can also happen to us very much. And during when we suffer from bad events happening in our own life, we get caught by some disease, we get our loved ones leaves their body, or we ourselves move from move from the Kaumara, Yauvana, and Jara, and moving towards the Dehantara Praptir. So when we ourselves go through these stages of life, we from youth to old age to more old age, senior citizens, super senior citizens. During this progression, also, if we remember these verses, we will be peaceful. We will not be worrying about increasing, losing our hairs, for example, or graying of hairs, or the wrinkles which on our face. Will not over worry too much. We'll tolerate this and still continue to do our duty. So sober person will not get bewildered by such a change. Such a change can happen to us or to our loved ones, and using this knowledge, we can go through those situations in a better way. We can respond to those situations in a much better way. So this is one of the most important section. This is called knowledge section of Bhagavad Gita. One of the most important section of Bhagavad Gita. Another important series of verses we discuss. So we have discussed all these verses in great detail during our when we discussed this, when we went through all these chapters. So that time we had discussed these verses in great details. So we are now only touching them upon from the point of view of how we can benefit out of those, if we choose to apply them fully, understand them fully, and apply this knowledge in our life. How we can benefit out of it. Again, these are not the only verses important. There are other important verses, but considering the time that we want to spend on this, we are moving quickly with few verses, select few verses. Not that, but one should understand that second chapter especially has so many critical verses. The whole chapter is so beautiful that you can practically present all those verses in this section, and we can keep discussing what we learn out of it, and that class can never get over. So important set of verses: desire to possess material things, material opulence. So desire to possess, desire to enjoy, and hope that we will get some pleasure out of material things. These force us to perform activities in the material world, and those activities keep us bound, keep us entangled in this material world. So bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya aparata chetasam. So aparata is kidnapping. Like we've seen movies that we get kidnapped, a child get kidnapped, a heroine get kidnapped. कुछ गुंडे आ जाते हैं, उसको जबरदस्ती उठा के ले जाते हैं. So that is the kidnapping that happens with whom? With our mind. Chetasam is mind and intelligence put together. Now अगर हमारा intelligence and mind kidnap हो जाए, किसके कारण? भोग and ऐश्वर्य की आसक्ति से. भोग is sense enjoyment and ऐश्वर्य is material opulence. अगर हम उसके पीछे दीवाने हो जाए, अगर हम उसके पीछे पागल हो जाए, then वो उस आदमी से भक्ति हो ही नहीं सकती, भक्ति कर ही नहीं पाएगा. सो भक्ति करने के लिए हमें वी डोंट हैव टू गिव अप sense enjoyment, we don't have to give up aishwarya, opulence, but we need to change our attitude towards these two things. Yesterday was ekadashi, nirjala ekadashi. Many of you, most of you, I'm hoping would have fasted. भूख लगना is a biological need. भूख लगता है, जैसे हमको भूख लगती है, after every 8 hours we feel hungry, because that's a basic biological need. उसमें we don't have to do anything extra. हमने कुछ भी नहीं किया, दिन भर सोते रहे तो भी हमें एक फिक्स टाइम के बाद भूख लग ही जाएगी. However, just yesterday all of you, most of you would have not eaten, even in spite of being feeling hungry. So this is how we should deal with our bhoga, the sense enjoyment. The desire could be there, the urges could be there. Why desires are there? Because we have enjoyed these activities in history. May not be in this life, but in the previous life we would have had enjoyed sex, we would have had enjoy other things, other sense enjoyments. So those things we have done already, and those impressions exist in our mind, and those create those desires. Those impressions bring up desires. Say you had enjoyed it earlier, so you should enjoy it once more, and the urge can come that yes, do it now. But if you are regulating enough, if you are intelligent enough, if you are practice bhakti sufficiently, then your intelligence will become sharp enough to reject that urge. That saying, just like yesterday all of you would have rejected urge even to drink water. Now water, food, these are basic things. So what we can do with food, we can do it with everything else. We would have hopefully by now given up meat eating, and earlier you might have had enjoyed meat eating, but now once you come in the process of bhakti, you are with firmness, you are declining meat when it is offered to you, if at all it is offered. So you don't have to work hard or resist, create super super convincing reasons to reject a meat dish that is offered to you. Just do it very easily, and similarly you will be able to regulate your sense enjoyment. So it's not that while rejecting meat you are rejecting food at all, but you are taking food, you are taking prasad. So regulated way, you are eating in a regulated way, so you don't have to stop eating. You just have to stop eating certain things, and that is because you are more knowledgeable today, because you have bigger purpose to achieve, because you have a purpose to live life for. So that's why you are doing it. So it's not about giving up sense enjoyment completely, but it is regulating, and by regulating it, we can by using our intelligence, we can perform, we can remain safe. We cannot we don't have to get indulge into lower happiness. We can stay away from lower happiness, but that cannot go on forever. You need taste of higher happiness also, and that you get by getting connected with Krishna. Whenever you get connected with Krishna, you experience spiritual happiness. You chant in the morning, you will experience spiritual joy. You take prasad, you will experience spiritual joy. You visit temple, you see form of Lord, take darshan, pay obeisances, dandavat to Lord, you will experience spiritual joy. You meet devotees, you sing in the kirtan, you dance in kirtan, you will experience spiritual joy. You visit Vrindavan, you visit Mayapur Dham with devotees, you will be transported to Vaikuntha. You will feel as if during those yatra days you you probably existed on some different planet. If you happen to go with devotees, if you go on your own, you will end up visiting UP and West Bengal, and you will only see problems there. But if you happen to go with devotees, they will transport you to a different world. And these are experiences can be experienced very easily by blocking your calendar from 19th October to 29th October. Also, you can experience that spiritual happiness. What does spiritual happiness means? You can do that. And once you get this taste, the other taste that you get from sense enjoyment, which sense enjoyment promise you, becomes distasteful. So Prabhupada writes in a purport very beautifully that Prabhupada says that therefore the restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophyte. Neophyte means a new devotee. The restrictions, which are like four regulative principles, the no onion, no garlic, and those kind of restrictions. So these restrictions are there for the new people. uh, for the less intelligent neophyte in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for the pale things. So Prabhupada is giving very talking is saying the nectar. I mean, this is what it is. Initially you may think these are restrictions. Why am I restricted from even eating onion and garlic? Because today the world believes that without onion and garlic, no good tasty food can be cooked. But Prabhupada says that's all right. At the beginning, for less intelligent, a new devotee, those restrictions are required. So by force, at least you should try and stay away from these things. The four regulative principle you should follow. The onion garlic you should avoid, and offer food and eat prasad only. But eventually, once you enjoy the spiritual taste, once you get that spiritual happiness, those you will lose taste only in those things. And then there is no question of you falling back on the path. The next series of verses that we discuss are about about enjoyment, about again regulating regulating our senses, the senses, mind, and intelligence. In this order, they need to be regulated. And if your senses are uncontrolled, then they can carry away your mind. If your senses and mind are uncontrolled, then your intelligence become useless. Intelligence will start serving the senses and the mind rather than serving soul. And the bottom line is aghayur indriya ramo mogham partham sa jivati, that you're not given birth to enjoy your senses. Your given purpose of your birth is not to have sense enjoyment only. That's going to be there. That's part of life. So accept it, do it, and in the course of life. But you don't live life for sense enjoyment. You don't live life to satisfy your tongue. You don't live life to satisfy your genitals. You just don't live life to smell nice things only. That's all that you will do as part of life, but you don't live life for that. So so that's the very key message for us to remember when we operate from Monday to Saturday in the material world. The next is act for Krishna. And then Krishna gives immediately an example that eating is done by everyone. But if you can, how can you eat by keeping Krishna at the center? Then again, Prabhupada will read something from the purport for verse 3.13. That we have to do everything for Krishna. That's the bottom line. And when we act for Krishna, we don't, then that work is called a karma. That does not yield you any reactions. And in fact, it will free you up from the previous bondage also. So Krishna is giving example by in the 3.13th verse that yadna shishtasna santo muchyante sarva kilbishay, that and Prabhupada explained in the purport, the santas, santa is the devotee, santa, devotees of Krishna Lord, santa being always in the compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. Govinda means the giver of all pleasures, Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all attractive person. Now, such devotees cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. So, so therefore, they So therefore they only eat those things which can be offered. Now they do it out of compact of love with the supreme person. Now they are in love with Krishna. Because of their love with Krishna, because they are in love with Krishna, they can't imagine eating anything without offering to their beloved is Krishna himself. So without offering anything, they consider it as sinful. And Prabhupada go on to write saying that the society of sinful people and thief, how can the such society be peaceful? So those who are eating food without offering it to Krishna, they eat sin only. And the sinful people and thief, if the society is made up of all these people, how can such society ever be peaceful? How can such a society ever be happy? So if you want to be happy, you eat food that is only offered to Krishna, and that is prepare sattvic food, nice palatable dishes, nice food you can cook, offer it to Krishna, and then take it as prasad. Prasad is mercy. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. That is what we have to offer, the sattvic food, not everything and anything that we want to eat. We want to offer Krishna first. So for that, we need to know what Krishna likes, and we should offer what Krishna likes, not what we like. Simple. So moving on, we discuss. This was the last verse. I think we spent a lot of time discussing that verse. So this is where we are. We will discuss this verse now. This section of verse is, though you are acting under the modes, you have free will and you can choose bhakti. So the modes of material nature, we are governed, we are acting under the influence of modes of material nature. Modes of material nature are formed because of our historical indulgence. जैसे हमने हमने गोवा टाइप किया है, गोवा के ऊपर काफी रिसर्च किया है कि गोवा में कौन से होटल में रुकना चाहिए, गोवा में फ्लाइट कौन सी जाती है, गोवा में बाय रोड कैसे जा सकते हैं, गोवा में दारू कहाँ मिलती है, गोवा में फिश कहाँ मिलता है, और क्या, whatever we want to know about Goa, we have done lots of research on Goa. So every time on Google we type GO, Google auto completes it with Goa, because Google know that you have been searching on Goa for all this along, and but suddenly you've started attending Bhagavad Gita classes, you've started visiting temples, you hear about all the 4 regulative principles, you have heard no illicit sex, no intoxication, चाय नहीं पीनी है तो दारू कहाँ से पियेंगे, सिगरेट नहीं पीना है, नो गैम्बलिंग भी नहीं करता है तो कसिनोज भी नहीं चाहिए, सो कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए तो गोवा का क्या यूज है फिर? अब कुछ भी नहीं करना तो गोवा क्यों जाना है? बट नेक्स्ट टाइम यू गो ऑन गूगल, बट यू टाइप GO, गूगल कंप्लीट्स इट एज गोवा फॉर यू, बट यू change that A to D, change from A to D, because now you are a devotee. So now you are searching on God, not on Goa, but Google doesn't know it. So that is how our senses and mind works. It prompts us towards things which we have done in history, in our history. Now that history is not limited. Our history memory is maybe 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years behind, but our mind's memory can go few multiple lifetimes also very easily. So there, all those impressions are very fresh in our mind. So mind generate desires using those impressions. ये सब किया था आपने पहले, तो why don't you do it again? ये सर ये भी किया था, ये भी किया था, ये भी किया था. That time you enjoyed it so much. It is said that material sense enjoyment is nectar at the beginning and poison towards the end, poison at the end. So lamentation is guaranteed. Anybody who seek to enjoy through through using their senses, lamentation is guaranteed. It's question of when, not if. कि if I will get lamentation, वो question नहीं है. क्वेश्चन ये है when you will get lamentation, कब आप दुखी होगे, कब आप रोएगे. So that's the problem. So this is prakriti kriyamani. So though we are prompted, we were largely under the influence of modes, we still have free will. जैसे कि हमने GO के बाद गूगल ने डी कंप्लीट किया था, बट हमने डिलीट करके ए किया था, बट हमने वो डिलीट करके डी किया, और हमने अभी गॉड के ऊपर गूगल सर्च किया है. वैसे ही हम कर सकते हैं, एंड वी कैन डू इट फॉर एवरीथिंग in our life, wherever our in our impulses are directing towards, we can change those directions if we have knowledge, if we have association of devotees, if we have guidance from our devotees. So these three verses, um, we'll talk about this, that kama esha, again the the lust is the vairinam, vidyena vairinam, those who are uh, who are trying to learn, who are trying to get knowledge of spiritual knowledge and trying to become devotee. For such people, lust is the is the biggest enemy, the worst enemy. And then janma karma chame divyam. So bhakti is a conscious choice that one has to make. And if you can make that as a conscious choice, then you, just by knowing about Krishna's birth and his transcendental activities, you will have no choice but to surrender to him. You will, his knowing his greatness and knowing his sweetness, you will fall in love with Krishna, and then you will surrender to him. You will do everything for Krishna. And if you can do that, you will not get birth again. So this is this is the theme of these three verses. We can raise hands and we can find out we can discuss what do we how what is our understanding. We, again, I don't want to say that we have applied all these in our life. That's like too much of bigger statement to make. But what is our understanding? And because ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate, now this is what we are all doing. uh, a, a baller thumping, punching the air, uh, after taking wicket, he doesn't say that it's because of Krishna's mercy I have got this wicket. Doesn't give any credit to Krishna. He claim all credit. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. He think he is the doer by his own. Whatever he has done is his end of a result of his own achievement. Any student getting good marks rarely seen to be giving credit to Krishna, who has allowed him to retain his memory. Yes, Vikas Prabhuji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. So, in respect to this 327, as you have almost explained it in totality, that everything is done by the three modes, and above those three modes is Krishna, who is controlling those three modes. And but still, the people thinks that I am the doer. So I could relate it to with one of the example of going to office, that time and again, or after some time, we get transferred from one particular office, and in the office in which we worked for some 2 year 3 year, and we were performing extraordinarily well, and we thought that nothing will be happening after us, means whatever actions are happening here in this office are due to us. So the live example is that the day we are transferred from that, the functions are still going on very smoothly. So I was never in the picture, means I was just a medium, I was just a nimit matra for doing that particular job. Rather, those are to be done, means on the material platform, if we think about that. So there is nothing to the false ego kind of thing to be considered that I am the doer of the particular thing. These are anyway happening, means the even the material world is going on its own. It's our indulgence is just a bit of dust particle, and not more than that, means it's very revolving. So what to talk about the spiritual things? It's all happening by the sanction of Krishna only, means there is nothing like if I think to do something, I cannot complete that again
Yes,
till
but
Krishna does not sanction it.
how do we what mood should we maintain then?
Then the
Or
mood should be of
what is
surrender to Krishna, Prabhuji. Then means since nothing is in my control, everything is controlled by the modes of material nature. So I am just the nimit matra. Like in further verses in chapter 11 somewhere, Krishna explains to Arjuna that nimit matra bhava Arjuna. Though I have already killed all the Kauravas, and I am just asking you to become nimit matra.
but
Otherwise, anyway, they are going to be killed.
what will be the motivation then to act?
The motivation to act will be, Prabhuji, that if in case I think myself to be the doer, then the enjoyment, the temporary enjoyment that will be coming to me, or the miseries will be coming to me, they will be just misguiding me to some other paths. Otherwise, if I am considering that the ultimate objective, or the things done by these three modes of material nature are means they are the actual doer and they are the servitor of Krishna. So ultimately Krishna is in the picture. So because if Krishna has sanctioned that this particular action is to be done by me, I am doing it, and that is it. Means I shouldn't
So we have to
wonder.
do our duty. We have to do our duty in every situation, and Krishna is going to do his part. And whatever the result comes, we have to give credit to Krishna as well. Because then, if it is wrong, then we should consider still whichever way the result is, we should consider it as Krishna's sanction. Is it?
Yes,
That's
Prabhuji.
fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have already explained that. Means you already in the starting itself said that we need to just
Okay.
the result should be offered to Krishna only. So when I'll be offering the result, there will be no lamentation and neither there will be happiness. The life will be balanced. So the if whether the result is good or bad, I am means in my perfect stage of life. Like I'm
Uh,
not lamenting or I'm not
so
bewildered
anybody
or
else? Yeah, let's hear from someone else. How practical it is. Because when we get promotion, obviously it's there is the promotion later does not have your efforts, and Krishna's sanction has allowed us to increase your salary or give you some new promotion. So it's very common for us to feel very
it is
glorified.
there, Prabhuji,
Is it?
actually. It is there, yeah. Because I've seen people that they are waiting for promotion for last 3-4 years. So had there not been the picture, means Krishna in picture, so they might have got it in the first year itself, if it was the very mechanical thing. But it is not
Okay,
always
let's hear
mechanical.
from Chandramohan Prabhu.
Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I mean, what I heard from you and Vikas Prabhu talking, the mood I believe should be in a way of detached, neither too much attached with it nor away from it, but just doing it as it's something which needs to be done. I mean, morning when I wake up, I go to the washroom without any attachment. I'll have to clean my brush. I'll have to take a shower. There is no attachment in that activity. The activity is that I should be clean and come and do my devotional service. So if work also I'm able to do like that, I probably would believe that I'm elevated. But honestly, I'm not able to do like that. I get attached. Any task, any work I do, not that I take the credit, but I'm far from doing a work without being attached. I sincerely pray to Krishna that he gives me the ability where I do the work and I'm still not attached.
Okay. Anybody else want to say anything on this? You can raise hand or you can unmute. Unmute will create little mess, but so we can raise hands. Yes. So I think mostly I think a lot of comments are covered. Unless anybody else has to say anything, but yes, I think what's important is often we will get attached because when we operate in the material world, a student is preparing for exams, a sportsman is playing in the sports field, a grahastha is working in office, or a housewife or mother is cooking in the kitchen, preparing, taking care of his her family. Now there it's important that we have these are our duties. They are our duties in the material world which we are given, and we do these duties using talents, skills, and abilities which are again given by Krishna. So when we know this, we have to make best use of it for rendering a service to Krishna. Now the the work that we do is to take care of should be done in a mood to take care of family, with who is pursuing Krishna consciousness too, so that everybody can be given facilities to nicely perform sadhana bhakti, so nicely perform devotional service. So to that extent, when we act, when we are acting in the world, we need to act in this mood, and this we need constant hearing. Constantly we should be in touch with devotees. We should be constantly hearing the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Bhagavad Gita philosophy is to be also read regularly. Bhagavatam has to be read regularly, because all these things will be reinforced. Because if we leave too much gap in between, we can get Maya can overpower us, and then we will start believing that we are the doer. And when things don't happen according to our plan, we also become the doer, and then we might end up taking drastic decisions of committing suicides, right from that to to become grumpy, to become uh, to to become angry with the situation and the people around us, to remove anger on other people, to behave badly with people because the results are not according to our desire. We create a chaos around us when we consider ourselves as a doer, and when things go according to our desire, we become arrogant, we become nasty, we become greedy, and we become proud. So either way, we are in a problem. So therefore it's very important for us to know that what we have, whatever we have, is Krishna's gift to us. What we do with it is our gift to Krishna. So our gift to Krishna should be to provide facility for practicing bhakti to our family members, and to do everything that we can do for Krishna's for glorifying Krishna, for service of Krishna. So this way we can remain in balance. And again, this is not all. There is a lot in this, but to start with, because this is where we can remain equipoised in both the situations, and our response to situations, to the outcomes of situations, will be very balanced. So dukheshu anudvigna mana, sukheshu vigata spruha, vitaraga bhaya krodha, sitadhir muni uchyate. Sitadhir muni is doesn't get in dukha, he doesn't get bewildered. Anudvigna mana, unka man anudvigna nahi ho jata hai. Udvigna is agitated mind. Anudvigna is unagitated mind. Whose mind is not agitated is anudvigna. Very beautiful word in Sanskrit. And sukheshu vigata spruha, in the happiness also he remains peaceful, because he understands that both the happiness and the distress are coming with sanction of Krishna. I am not the only doer. So once you know that the Krishna is also the doer, then you give due credit to Krishna for everything, and accept it as Krishna's will when the things are not according to our expectation, and take upon yourself to do better using Krishna's skill, intelligence, skills and talents and abilities to do perform better next time. And if you have done your best but still results are bad, then that's Krishna's sanction. Maybe Krishna wants me to do something else, or maybe this is not the right time. So this way, these reminders need to happen to us. If we learn it once, and if we are able to remember it for lifetime, then we need not hear Bhagavad Gita again. We are just done with it. However, if that is not going to happen, then we need to hear constantly the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Vinod Prabhu, Swapnil Prabhu, you want to comment on this, or we can go to the next verse?
On this, I will just have one small comment.
Let me just clear all drawings. Okay. I request. Okay, please raise hand. Don't show me your hand by drawing it on the screen. Yes, Proji.
Yes. I have a small comment, Proji. We should be attached to it, but that attachment should be related to Krishna. Like Prabhuji was telling that I'm going morning and doing brush and taking bath. I don't have any attachment. But even during that activity, if I'm getting up in early morning, doing brush, getting myself fresh, that means I'm preparing myself to pray to Krishna. I should be clean. I should be nice to that. So that kind should be surrendered to Krishna. If I'm going for buying vegetable, it should be fresh and nice vegetable, away from any microbes or anything. That is because I'm going to make a prasad for Krishna. If I'm going to office and doing some work over there, that attachment should be that yes, I'm doing this activity to get money to serve a Krishna conscious family and raising my children. So whatever activity we are doing, we should be attached to that activity, but the consciousness of that activity should be related to the Krishna. And that will give us immense pleasure. At the same time, also, if something is happening or not happening, that will not have a kind of attention, because it was for Krishna, and Krishna has done the good way or bad way, whatever is there for him, and it is done by him only. So I'm not the doer, I'm not the enjoyer, I'm just doing it for Krishna. So that
Yes.
mode to
Yeah,
help
that's a very nice point you have brought. So instead of yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, is that instead of becoming remaining detached, let's be attached to Krishna. Because the point is, when you are getting up in the morning and preparing yourself for japa, when you are, when it is said that when you pass stool while before taking bath and going to bed, if your consciousness you're thinking of going to the temple, then even that action is considered to be devotional service, because you are preparing yourself for visiting temple, visiting dham. So there, the attachment to Krishna is important, and that will come in some of the subsequent verses in the section of Bhagavad Gita. But that's very important point that Prabhuji made, that if you remain attached to Krishna, and with that mood we perform our duty, whatever be it. I could be a student, I could be a working professional, I could be a housewife, I could be a retired person. Whatever I'm doing, at least at a bodily level, at a social level, at a family level, these bodily duties, whatever I'm doing, I can do it by remaining attached with Krishna, by creating a purpose how I'm going to serve Krishna using this activity. So that's nice thought as well. We'll move to the next section of verses, and the others, those who have not spoken so far, they can chip in. Please raise hand, keep raising hands, and I can keep requesting you all to. So these are individual verses. Gahana Karmanogati is the theme that we want to talk about. That's the highlighted portion. That the verse comes in the 17th verse in the 4th chapter, where Krishna is explaining that the intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Now, the karma here, let me just clarify that is can be understood in multiple ways, and there are 3 or 4 ways. So here, the karma can also be understood as reactions of karma. That the fruits what we are getting, because what we understand, we don't want to understand what we want to do, that probably we all know by our training, but the result that we are experiencing, that can be bewildering. कि ये मैंने कैसे, ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? A lot of time, we ask these questions that ये I've been such nice to Krishna, I've been so nice with devotees, and why this kind of a thing is happening with me? So that is so in that sense the karma is also can be used to describe reactions of karma. So when we face reactions, when we experience reactions, when we are exposed to those reactions, the results which are contrary to our expectation, now that's where we ask this question कि ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? And that's where Krishna says that gahana is, if it is very simple, if I'm winning every match that I'm playing, I will not ask question कि ये क्यों हो रहा है मेरे साथ? Why I'm winning all the matches that I'm playing as a tennis player, or as a badminton player, or as an Indian cricket team. But when I play hard, I play well, and I still lose, then sometimes I may wonder कि ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? I may study hard but still don't get marks as per my expectation, and then I'll wonder कि क्या हो रहा है? Case of promotion, for example, Prabhuji was mentioning, if I'm working hard, trying, hoping to get promoted every year, but every year my neighbors on both sides get promoted, I get dropped, and then I may keep wondering कि ये क्यों मेरे साथ हो रहा है? Now, how do we understand this aspect, and where is the connection with our life of this gahana karmanakuti? Do we all face this question कि ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? Have you all ever faced this kind of a question? Have you all felt bewildered कि ये कैसे हो रहा है, मतलब क्यों हो रहा है मेरे साथ? Any comments anybody has on this? So I'll encourage everyone who has not spoken so far. Swapnil Prabhu, I'll go with you. Please raise hand, and आपका कोई गलत हो सकता है, whatever it is, we are discussing, we are not giving marks to you based on your understanding of Bhagavad Gita. This is a discussion, but because all these verses are very important, when we learn them, when we speak about them, then our doubts only will get clarified. So please don't be fearful कि ये मेरा पता नहीं क्या बोलूँगा, whether people will like it, understand it, whether my understanding could be wrong. Let it be altogether wrong, let it be completely wrong, that's fine, but please raise hand, please speak, so we know what's going on in your mind. How do you understand, how do you see these verses and their connection with your life? Yes, Swapnil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, as what I understand for me is that we carry lot of dilemma, and if at all we go through the Krishna consciousness and Bhagavad Gita verses, the dilemma which, in fact, it all says that the dilemma which Arjuna had at that time, same dilemma we all carried. We have a lot of questions in our mind, and probably attaching to Krishna or being a Krishna consciousness removes all those dilemma. And finally, what we understand, what I understand, in fact, is that we are responsible towards Krishna. So all other karmas are basically the one which is directed by Krishna, but performing those karmas and getting fruits out of those karmas is Krishna's will, and that's why we are all responsible towards Krishna. So this is where I feel that we should perform our duties keeping Krishna consciousness in mind, in fact in our subconscious mind also. So that is what I feel.
Okay, very nicely captured, very well said, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Mili Mataji, yeah, you want to say something?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Yes, Mataji.
वो ये आपने जो पूछा ना कि कभी आपने ये फील किया है कि मेरे साथ ही, मैं तो हमेशा ही फील करती हूँ प्रभु जी।
हम सब करते हैं, थैंक यू फॉर एडमिटिंग
मैं फील
इट।
करती थी। क्योंकि 12 years बैक जब मेरे बड़े बेटे को मैंने जन्म दिया, एंड ही इज अ स्पेशल चाइल्ड, तभी मैंने यही सोचा था कि मेरे साथ ही क्यों। तो उसके बाद एनी हाउ मैंने इस सिचुएशन को सिचुएशन में अपने आप को ढाल लिया, एंड ही इज अभी अगर मैं उसका स्टेज देखूं तो ही इज वेरी सपोर्टिव, वेरी कोऑपरेटिव। अभी मुझे लगता है कि नहीं, भगवान ने अगर इस बच्चे को मेरे को दिया है तो कुछ सोच समझ के ही दिया है। एंड लास्टली 2 years बैक जब मेरे हस्बैंड की जॉब चली गई ड्यूरिंग कोरोना, तो मैंने बहुत हाथ पैर मारे, एंड एट दैट टाइम आल्सो आई फेल्ट लाइक कि मेरे साथ ही क्यों। फिर जब मैंने हाथ पैर मारे एंड मेरे को कुछ हासिल नहीं हुआ, तो फिर मैंने यही सोचा कि चलो भगवान आप ही की मर्जी, दिया भी था आप ही ने, लिया भी है आप ही ने, और जैसा भी होगा आप ही देखोगे, मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है। अगर आपकी मर्जी होगी तभी ये सब कुछ होगा, नहीं आपकी मर्जी नहीं होगी तो मेरे हाथ पैर मारने से कुछ नहीं होता है।
Yes, so that's very nice realization, Mataji, and thank you for sharing it. And we all have a lot to learn from what you have experienced, and it's not easy. You are looking back, आप पीछे देख के आप बता रहे हो कि 2 साल पहले ये हुआ, 15 साल पहले ऐसा हुआ. But when we go through the such incidences, it's become very helpful if you have learned this knowledge. This knowledge comes handy, people come handy, devotees tell us this, so that's why it's for all of us, all others, that's the beauty of this knowledge. Now you, with this knowledge, you can interpret events happening in your life in much better way. You can analyze those events, understand those events in much better way, and respond to those in much better, peaceful way, and remain peaceful. It's not that you're not feeling the heat of the moment when the job is lost, these are all real problems, and we have to do our best to deal with those at our level. But if you understand it as sanction of Krishna, as the will of Krishna, and Krishna, we believe that Krishna is our most well-wisher, and then our ability to overcome these improves drastically. Otherwise, we can just get submerged in these problems. So thank you, Mataji, for sharing this.
प्रभु जी, वन मोर थिंग, मैंने अभी ये वो कर लिया है। मुझे ये जो कृष्णा ने कहा, कृष्णा के आई मीन वॉट एवर वी हैव रेड इन भगवत गीता और भागवतम, और ये क्लासेस अटेंड करके जो भी नॉलेज है उसमें, जो कृष्णा ने इतनी स्ट्रांगली हमें ये सपोर्ट किया है कि तुम्हारी जो भी चिंता है, जो भी तुम्हारी डाउट्स हैं, वो तुम मेरे के ऊपर छोड़ दो एंड यू डू योर वर्क। तो ये तो बहुत, उन्होंने हमारी लाइफ बहुत इजी कर दी है ना।
Yes,
दिस
yes,
आई
you're
फॉर्मली
right.
बिलीव।
No, no, you're right. And we make it complicated. इसको complicate हम करते हैं। कृष्णा ने तो काफी simple रखा है। Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Jyoti Mata, you want to share something on this verse, or we can move to the next verse?
Yeah, no, just it's about my personal experience, because when I was not I was not in Krishna consciousness, and when I am in Krishna consciousness, so there is a huge difference I can see. Because before and getting into Krishna consciousness, I was like, okay, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm actually achieving, that is all because of my efforts, and I never used to give credit to God. So I just was thinking always like, okay, there is some third power. He is there to protect me. That's it. Nothing much that I have complete faith on him. But when I entered into Krishna consciousness, the things completely changed in front of me. So still I'm experiencing. So it is like a gradual process while doing Krishna consciousness. So that's something like I'm very much I'm slowly getting near to Krishna. That much I can see.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. We'll go to the next verse, and okay, Tadvidi Pranipatena. So the we need somebody to tell us that, to remind us from time to time, because our our interaction, our interface with Maya is daily. So we come across Maya daily as we operate in this world. So on a daily basis, we need to be reminded of this philosophy, and that task is done by devotees. Every Sunday we do it. Other devotees who are in touch with you, they do it, and we do it in the morning during japa session, do it in the evening during chad reading session of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So these devotees, or the spiritual master, or the devotees who are guiding us, how should we deal with those, is spoken in this verse. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. Any quick comment on this? I know most of you would have probably understood this verse, but anyone who has not spoken so far would like to say anything about this. How you have what was your approach towards devotees earlier, and now how do you see those devotees? Yes, Chetan Prabhuji, you want to say something? Yes, Mikal.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी एक्चुअली ये जो आपने पूछा कि स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर के लिए जो हम लोग अप्रोच करते हैं वो कैसा होना चाहिए। एक्चुअली जब मैंने भगवत गीता रीड करना स्टार्ट किया था तो आई वाज लाइक कि ठीक है, एज अ स्टूडेंट लाइक आई वाज नॉट दैट मच सीरियस विद स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटीज। So when I started reading, then I started to correlate, and धीरे धीरे फिर उसमें शीला प्रभुपाद जी ने स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर का मेंशन किया। तो आई वाज लाइक कि ठीक है, अभी इतना हम लोग समझ ले रहे हैं, अभी उतना ऊपर जाने की क्या जरूरत है, रीड कर लिया वो बहुत है। बट इनिशियली आई लाइक ऐसे कुछ चीज़ों में बहुत कंफ्यूजन होने लगा कि अच्छा, ये अगर इसको मैं मटेरियल थिंग्स में अप्लाई करती हूँ तो ये तो एकदम ही मिसमैच हो जा रहा है, लाइक अपने स्टूडेंट लाइफ में भी। तो फिर लाइक दैट कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलेर हेतुर्भु मा ते संगोऽस्त्व अकर्मणि। लाइक यू शुड नॉट होप फॉर रिजल्ट। सो आई वाज लाइक कि अब मैं रिजल्ट के लिए होप ही नहीं करूंगी तो फिर मैं अपना ये स्टूडेंट का लाइक जो मेन वही रहता है कि अरे रिजल्ट आना चाहिए, तो वो कैसे हो पाएगा। बट slowly I started attending sessions, and I in some family life or personal life also I started attending like asking spiritual masters like you and Narottam Prabhu ji and Rupati Mata ji, like बोलते हैं ना कुछ ऐसे सुलझने लगता है चीजें, क्योंकि I was like totally entangled when I didn't approach any spiritual master. And when I started approaching, then I started to see the clear picture of it. So very much thanks. So thanks for that.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing, Mataji. And yes, you're right. When we initially don't see devotees as a source of knowledge. जैसे कि हम डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो we don't try to show doctor how much we know about medicine. We tell them our problem and we seek a solution. We listen to whatever they tell, and we try to follow to the best of our ability. However, जब हम पंडित के पास जाते हैं, हम devotees के पास जाते हैं, there our mentality is different. We don't go with the same mentality as we go to a doctor or to a lawyer. किसी बड़े lawsuit में हम lawyer को ये नहीं बताने जाते कि हमें कितना law पता है, doctor को ये नहीं बताते कि हमें कितना पढ़ा है, हम कितना medicine पढ़े हैं. We go with the surrender mood. But when we go to temple, we don't have that same surrender mood. When we meet devotees, we don't have that same surrender mood. Krishna is saying that you should have the similar surrender mood with devotees, and then you can benefit out of their guidance. Otherwise, you will not benefit out of your guidance. So, एक WhatsApp पे एक joke आता है कि डॉक्टर के बाहर पार्टी एक प्लेट लगाई हुई है कि आपका गूगल का नॉलेज आप बाहर रख के आइए चप्पलों के साथ, चप्पल बाहर उतारिए और गूगल का जो नॉलेज है आपका मेडिसिन का वो भी वहीं रखिए है और फिर अंदर आइएगा. बिकॉज डॉक्टर पीपल, एंड दैट्स मोस्टली पीपल विल डू दैट एक्चुअली, एंड दे विल बी हैप्पीली डू दैट. They will happily feel surrender to the doctor. A patient who is getting operated does not tell doctor कि यहाँ से नहीं यहाँ से काटना. They just surrender, they just lie down and they just cooperate with doctor. But with devotees, people don't have the same approach. When it comes to dharma, when it comes to devotional activities, everybody knows that they know everything. And with that mood, when they come to temple, often they are unable to accept knowledge. So they are like a glass filled with garbage. No knowledge can go inside. There's no space only. So we need to change that approach. Our approach towards devotees should be similar to our approach towards a cardiologist, towards a heart surgeon, towards a cancer surgeon. If we happen to go and sit in front of them, how surrender we will be. We should have similar mood when we go and talk to devotees, because unless we do that, we will not get any benefit out of their guidance, because we will always be arguing with them. We will always be talking with them about how much we know, and then that kind of a conversation will not be very, very fruitful. So this is what I have personally realized from this verse. I will move on. Shraddhavana labhate jnanam tatpara sayyata indriya jnanam labdhva param shantim chirenam adhikachati. So again, I'll just bring out a very important point on this, that Shraddhavana, with faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses, is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it quickly, he attains the supreme spiritual peace. So peace is the objective, and this is the process to get that peace. Now again, this is not a devotional verse per se, because devotional service is not yet introduced in the flow of Bhagavad Gita, but Prabhupada writes purport in such a way that he keeps the theme of spiritual happiness. Therefore, he talks about supreme spiritual peace. But again, this is also a very important verse. Moving on, we'll talk about this important verse from 5th chapter. Yehi samsparsha jab hoga dukha yonaya evate adya antavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. Important verse. Anybody who has not spoken wants to speak about this, you can read the translation. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. So wise man does not delight in them. Anybody who has experienced this want to share anything about this? Chetan Ravji, you are saying something?
Just I unmuted to just read the verse.
Sure.
So experience, I'm not able to tell any experience on this verse.
Manju Mata, and then we'll go to Vikas Ravji.
Yeah, I wanted to say you can control your senses, but when you are surrounded by people who are too much into this materialistic world and sense pleasures, it becomes very difficult to deal with such people. What you can do, you can control, but all around us, we see people who they will not understand your view in this matter. So how to persuade them?
Yeah, so you're right that unless everyone, so that's why the society, Krishna consciousness is a society. That's why the whole family need to be pursuing Krishna consciousness, and when that happens, that is best, because at a level of family, you can insulate yourself from the rest of the world, and you can do your own things, and that will also face with, there will be challenges, because there will be in-laws, there will be outsiders who will be putting pressure on you कि आप मतलब अब यहाँ खाने भी बुलाया है तो वहां पे हमारे लिए बिना ओनियन गार्लिक का ही बना देना, तो ये these are all things will happen, and those kind of conflicts will keep we will keep facing as a devotee. So devotional service is tough. Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah, I
we
think we
need,
can do what we can do. We should not think too much about what others are doing.
correct.
We
So
have to play our role in this.
yes, if it is in our control, we should provide three things. We should provide them knowledge with people around us. We should provide them with example, that how people have benefited following this knowledge, and we should provide them with facility. If your children want to practice Krishna consciousness, they should be given suitable facility. If the prasad can be arranged, and the deities can be arranged in the home, so that they can take part in the worship, something
I'm
like
sorry,
that.
I'm
So
not talking about the immediate family. I'm talking about other people.
extend family, yes, other people is also,
Family.
we can do it to the extent we can, but otherwise it's at times it will be impossible. So there,
Yeah.
you insulating yourself, that can become the best. So you have to protect your own bhakti first. It's like wearing your own face oxygen mask first before helping others. So अगर हम अपने आप को protect कर पाते हैं, अपने आप की भक्ति intact रख सकते हैं, then we can, at some stage we can look at others, those who are interested, we can give them Krishna consciousness, or we can have them connected with the philosophy. We can talk about philosophy with them, but for that, our own protection is important.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nicely explained.
Hare Krishna. Vikas Prabhu and then Chaitanya ji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So, Prabhuji, here what Krishna mentioned is that actually you in one of your session explained us the difference between need and desire. So, if we remain till our need, that is all right. But most of the people and most of the time we tend to get involved in our desire. So Krishna says that whatever desires we are trying to fulfill, they are the sources of miseries, and definitely they are going to have an end, like buying of a luxurious apartment or a car, or getting involved into the material propensities. Either they will create a this liability on us in the form of loan, or there will be some kind of maintenance required, or this that means that there will be so much kind of problems coming with them as a bonanza or as a gift. So here Krishna explains that who is the intelligent man who does not delight himself in them. Whatever is the need of the body, that food is required, shelter is required, and whatever means the as per individual matters, whatever is required, that is required. That is to for only for that the effort should be done. Rather,
चिकन आएगा
we should not try
हो
to
200
delight
ग्राम ना
ourselves in. We should
अर्धा
not
केलं
try to.
अच्छा ठीक आहे काय घाई नव्हती कसं
I'll just
चालेल येतो घ्यायला
I'll just mute Prabhuji first. Yeah. So we should not try to get ourselves delight in those kind of activities which are ultimately miserable, and they have got their end also. Like if we go to some kind of restaurant to eat something, after that that may create indigestion, or that is going to end, means we won't be eating there for 24 hours into 7 days. We can go there for 1 hour, 2 hour or so. So they have got end also, and the ultimate result of that particular activity is not resulting or is not making us advance in the Krishna consciousness. So that is not the real delightfulness or the real intelligence. So we should strict ourselves or our actions to the activities which can progress us in the Krishna consciousness, and that can be a quality of a person who is really intelligent, because then he will be involved in the permanent thing. And as Narottam Priya Prabhuji says in context to 2.13, that in this world, everything except Krishna consciousness is a matra sparshastu. It's the sense perception only. So we should not fall prey to the sense perception. Rather, we should stick to the permanent thing, which is Krishna consciousness, and then only we can be the intelligent person. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. You are on mute, Prabhuji.
Sorry. So I said we can move to the next verse, and Chaitanya will come to you later. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bhuktaram yajna tapasa sarvaloka maheshwaram surudam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. Chaitanya, you want to say something? You want to read the translation and then give some comments on this? What your understanding of it? How do you apply this?
Yeah, so Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sruhudam Sarva Bhutanam Jatvama Shanti Pruchati. A person is in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wishers of living entity, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So the person who is in full consciousness of Sri Krishna, he will be the ultimate beneficiaries for all the blessings and all the austerities. So the Supreme Lord, who is basically the demigod of all the planets and this complete in the entire universe. So and he is the well-wisher for all the living entities. His blessings are for all the living entities, and there is no discrimination to his blessings. So with his blessings, if you are in full consciousness with Sri Krishna, you will attain the peace and all material misery. You will get rid of all the material miseries.
Miseries, yes. So basically, if you know that Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer of all the sacrifices, yajna sacrifices. What is the sacrifice? Sacrifice is something that you can lawfully enjoy, but you're giving it up for some other reason. So what you're giving up, you can lawfully enjoy meat, but you're giving up on meat eating. So this is a sacrifice also. So any sacrifice, Krishna says that I am the bhokta, I am the enjoyer of those sacrifices. Not only sacrifices, austerities. So agar koi yahan se chal ke Shirdi ja raha hai, that Krishna says I am the ultimate enjoyer of that sacrifice also. But if it is performed for some other deity, it will ultimately come to me. It will be, this is my indirect worship. This is indirect worship. So Krishna says with this knowledge, we should give up all other worships and all other performing austerities. Hum har 12 months mein, lot of people keep multiple vrats for multiple deities. And Krishna says no need for all that. No need for all that. If you become conscious of me, I can give you the supreme peace, the supreme happiness, the supreme joy, the supreme liberation. I can give you everything because it is if you go somewhere else asking for this, it is me who has to give anyway. So why not come to me directly? So this is what we get from this very, very important verse. This is the last verse of 5th chapter. Next is we have a theme of verses. Use mind from 6th chapter. This is use mind to deliver oneself, not to degrade oneself. So the 6th chapter is about dhyana yoga. Now dhyana yoga has dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, it is also called as, has 8 steps. That is starting with yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Yama, niyama, asana. Now yama, niyama itself are so difficult to do दैट आसन स्टेज पे हम तो जा ही नहीं सकते हैं। तो इसीलिए क्या किया है आज के मॉडर्न योगा टीचर्स ने यम नियम को बंद कर दिया है, बोला यम नियम की जरूरत ही नहीं, आप सीधे आसन पे आ जाओ एंड परफॉर्म आसन फॉर योर फिजिकल फिटनेस। सो जो कुछ आप प्राणायाम और आसन करते हैं दैट इज एम for your physical fitness. It has some physical benefit also. However, it does not become a purifying experience for a devotee or a sadhaka who wish to perform samadhi, who wants to go up to samadhi, because mind control is missing. Mind control, if that is not there, then doing all this just become remains to be a circus. Some basic physical activity does not help the sadhaka a great deal. So mind related verses comes at the beginning of the 6th chapter, and those are extremely important, extremely critical in all circumstances, even today. So these are the 4 verses. First verse, 5th verse, Krishna says, deliver with the help of mind, don't degrade yourself. Next verse, Krishna says, mind is your best friend, but if you are able to control it, but if it is if you are under mind's control, then mind is your greatest enemy. It will make you horrible things, and then it will scold you for doing those horrible things also. So for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is also already reached. And for him, the heat and cold, he's equipoised. He see everything equally. Honor, dishonor, heat, cold, happiness, distress, everything is equal for such person. Then see 26th verse, from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering nature, you bring him back, put him on the task. This is dhyana yogi is supposed to do, but all these verses are also applicable to a devotee, bhakti, in the bhakti yoga as well. So I would like to hear from someone who has not spoken so far about the mind. What do they understand, and how are they hoping to apply this in their small little way. I thought we'll have maximum hand raise for mind, because everybody has a mind and everybody's mind is troubling. So except for Vikas Prabhu, nobody else has any problem with the mind.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to share about my experience. I was learning some pranayam and yogic practices, as you said. I am basically a pranic healer. So I was learning all these techniques, meditations and all those things few years back. But every time when I used to do meditation or this pranayam, there was something which was creating an obstacle. And I was not knowing that what is that exact obstacle. So gradually when I entered into this path of spirituality, I understood that there are some things which my mind is holding back. Maybe some events of past things or something about some person. So then I realized that I first need to release all these things. I need to learn forgiveness. I need to forgive these people, these events in my past. I need to release my past completely. Then only maybe in the present moment, I will be able to focus on these techniques which I'm learning. But then gradually when I learned the importance of chanting and I started chanting, all these things gradually disappeared. Like the emotional blockages which I had in my mind, those started getting cleared. And then the bhakti, like what you said, it was a real enjoyment for me, because otherwise I was always thinking about those things in my subconscious mind. Though I was not knowing that I'm thinking about this, I was feeling that, okay, I'm learning all this and I'm gradually developing, progressing, but that was not a real progress. But now what I'm experiencing through this spirituality path is a real thing which I'm enjoying. So I think the role of the mind is very important, because the mind will create obstacles or it will be a facilitator for your spiritual progress. So you need to focus on the mind. That is it. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for sharing this important thing. And so the chanting connects our mind with Krishna, and Krishna is the purifying agent. Krishna is the purifier, and that's what we experience. The peace of mind which we experience is due to Krishna's presence in our mind. Jyoti Mataji, you can say something.
Yeah,
Question
no,
something.
Prabhuji, I was just hearing what Rashmi Mataji was saying. So I think that is very useful because I was just thinking that every day I used to think that what is that something holding me back? Because whenever I'm chanting, my mind is all wandering here and there, and I get so many emotional thoughts. So everything was going on in my mind. So just now when Rashmi Paranjali Mati has mentioned, so I was like, okay, fine. This is the thing that I need to do. So then thank you so much, Rashmi Mataji, for answering my questions. I mean, what I had, so I got answer from you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll go to the next series of verses. And this is we hope to cover in a few more slides and conclude on this particular topic. So the bhakti is supreme and easy. Follow wholeheartedly. This is a series of verses from the 7th chapter and 8th chapter. We'll just quickly talk about this. The first verse, 7.1, Krishna set himself as the goal. The previous verse is he end 6th chapter by talking about that yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samyukta tamamata. So this is where he brings himself up into the discussion that shraddhavan bhajate yomam, shraddhavan log mera bhajan karte hai, bhajate yomam, and such a person is the supreme yogi, the best of all yogis, not dhyana yogi, karma yogi. Before that, dhyana yoga has been described, the karma yoga has been described, jnana yoga has always been talked about. So Krishna says, amongst all yogis, a devotee who is worshipping me with shraddha, with faith, is the best amongst all. So this is where he, for the first time in Bhagavad Gita, he brings himself up into the foreground of the discussion, that he says now onwards we will talk about me alone. And then the immediately 7.1 first verse, Krishna speaks about himself elaborately. He said, Maya sakta mana partha, get attached to me. And how you start with the tachrunu is by process of hearing. You get knowledge, then you perform devotional service, all your doubts will be clear, you will become asamshayam, and yoga yunjam, perform devotional service wholeheartedly, and then that way you will get attached to me. When you will get attached to me, you will only think about me, you will love me, you will become my devotee, you will become devoted to me. And then what will happen is antavanta phalam taisha. So in the 23rd verse, Krishna says that the demigod worship, he brings out that demigods need not be worshipped because whatever fruits they are giving are antavantu, are limited and temporary. They are limited and temporary. And those who are alpa medhasam, alpa medha is a buddhi. Those who are small intelligence or less intelligent people only do this. But ultimately, in one of the next verse, Krishna says, whatever fruits that they are offering are actually sanctioned by me. And whatever austerities you are performing are also received by me. But he says this is worship in indirect way. Avidhi purvakam worship. Vidhi purvak is proper worship. Avidhi purvak is improper worship. Improper way to worship me, because ultimately I am only need to be worshipped. So this is where 23rd verse, 8.5th verse, antakalicha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhava. So Krishna says that we've spoken about liberation from the cycle of birth. How it is achieved? This is how it is achieved. That when you remember me at the time of quitting your body, if you remember me, you will attain me. Of this there is no doubt. Then therefore, how you will do it? You can do it by remembering me throughout your life. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. All the time when you remember me, obviously you will remember me also at the moment of your death, and of this also there is no doubt. So this is a worship where bhakti is a supreme, bhakti is easy, but we have to follow it wholeheartedly, continuously. Any realizations anybody want to share about this set of verses? Yes, Nupur. Yes, Nupur. Yeah, you can speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, here I want to say Krishna has made things very clear and easy for us. He's saying that you have to worship me alone. So पहले मुझे बहुत confusion होता था, मतलब मैं किसी भी भगवान को, मतलब किसी भी deity को देखती थी, गणेश जी या शिव जी या शिवलिंग या कोई देवी. So I used to get confused कि भगवान है कौन, मतलब who is that one person जिसे हमें पूजना है. तो कृष्ण ने यहाँ बहुत क्लियर कर दिया 7.23 वर्स में that we have to worship him alone and all the other demigods they'll get satisfied when we worship Krishna. So this thing अभी मुझे ये बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि whenever I see गणेश जी और शिव जी और शिवलिंग देवी माँ कोई भी, तो I get remembrance of Krishna. So I think हाँ, मतलब मुझे ऐसा याद आता है कि हाँ, they are devotees of Krishna and I have to pay obeisances to them because they are devotees. They are doing what Krishna has told them to do. Tell them he is telling them to do. And वो अपना ड्यूटी बहुत अच्छे से निभा रहे हैं, वो सर्विस कर रहे हैं कृष्ण की. And we have to get inspired by them and also serve Krishna in such a way. And also one thing that कृष्णा ने यहाँ अब हमें हमारी लाइफ का गोल बताया कि at the time of death we have to remember him alone. So the life is like a मतलब स्कूल में जैसा एक सेमेस्टर होता है और हम पूरा सेमेस्टर पढ़ते हैं और एक दिन लास्ट का पेपर होता है और हमें उस पेपर में जाना है और पास करना है. पर लाइफ में हमें मटेरियल लाइफ में जो हमें पेपर देना होता है उसमें हमें सिलेबस पता नहीं है, बट कृष्ण ने सिलेबस बता दिया पेपर क्या होने वाला है. एट द टाइम ऑफ डेथ यू हैव टू रिमेम्बर. कृष्ण ने सिलेबस भी बताया कि आपको मुझे रिमेम्बर करना है और इसके लिए आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी है. कृष्ण ने बहुत इजी करके बताया हमें सब. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच. धन्यवाद, प्रणाम.
Hare Krishna, Nupur. Very beautifully captured. I think the example of examination was also very apt. And yes, he's given the syllabus, he's given the question paper also. Only thing he is not revealed to us is when he is going to conduct the exam. So the timing of the exam is the only suspense, but the question paper भी leak हो चुका है इस case में तो. So we all know the question. We will be asked the question: did you remember Krishna at the moment of your death or not? That's the only question that we all have to respond to. And so the question paper is also leaked. The timing is not known, and therefore Prahlad Maharaj, as he saying his teachings to his friends, the asura friends, that from Kaumara age से ही आप भक्ति शुरू करो, पता नहीं आप when will be the time, when the time will come when you will have to give up this body. So from Kaumara age also only you start worshipping Narayan, start worshipping Lord Hari. So that was his teaching, and very beautifully captured about spoke about demigods very well, spoke about the ultimate objective of life and how you have to practice. You can't hope to appear on the day prior to your examination and hope to claim good marks there or hope to solve the problems. Krishna will not keep it that simple, but he has been merciful enough to have disclosed all these facts to us, and it's up to us whether we should take it up with all seriousness and proceed, work on our sadhana bhakti and create multiple contact points for Krishna so that we remember him throughout our life and also at the end of life. Make Krishna our goal. Don't go to Krishna for achieving our goal कि मुझे 3 BHK लेना है, मुझे Mercedes Benz लेनी है. Don't go to Krishna with these goals. In this case, goal is Mercedes Benz. Goal is that 3 BHK. Go to make Krishna your goal. I want to attain Krishna. We want to achieve Krishna, and Krishna is that all attractive object of that will make us completely happy. We'll also have some other verses about the ending of the cycle of birth and death, and this is one common knowledge that everyone seems to have. in India at least, that if from north to south, east to west, wherever you go, koi bhi temple mein aap jayenge, if you ask anybody, any pious person, he will tell you that what is the goal of life is to end the cycle of birth and death. Very मतलब कोई भी pious आदमी will know this, have this knowledge. And but we now we through this set of verses we now know how it is achieved, how it can be achieved. So ananya chetaha satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. That ananya cheta, without deviation, without any deviation, जो कृष्ण का स्मरण करते हैं नित्यशः, स्मरति नित्यशः, for such a devotee it is, this path is very easy. The ध्यान योगा is very difficult. अर्जुना भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, तो हमारे तो कोई होप ही नहीं है. Mind cannot be emptied. Mind can only be attached to Krishna. When mind get attached to Krishna, we lose taste for बाकी फालतू चीजें. Okay, those become distasteful to us automatically. So we don't have to try hard for that. Just get attached to Krishna. Everything else becomes easy with the mercy of Krishna. And then, so that's what Krishna is saying here, that then this path is easy. Bhakti is easy. He's not said this for dhyana yoga. There he's explained that option, but he's not calling it easy, because it is not easy. It is impossible to perform dhyana yoga in today's yuga. Then mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam. So once you attain me, having faced misery, having seen how miserable this material world is, and after working hard on your sadhana bhakti, when you attain me, you will never want to go back to that dukhalayam ashashvatam, this place of misery. देन आप ब्रह्म भुवनार लोका, ऐसा नहीं कि आप स्वर्ग में जाएंगे पुनरावर्तिनो अर्जुना तो आपका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा. All the seven planets above and seven planets below, there is in this entire अंडाकृति जो यूनिवर्स का डिजाइन है, where there are 14 planetary systems, and the earth planet is the middle planet, bhuloka. So all these lokas, there is a punaravarti. Punaravarti is repeated birth, exists in all the planets, even at the Satya Loka, Brahmaji's planet, till the lowest planet. Everywhere there is repeated birth. So ऐसा नहीं कि आप elevate हो जाएंगे, पुण्य कमाएंगे और elevate हो जाएंगे and go to the higher planets, and there is no repeated birth. No. If avoiding repeated birth is the objective, then attaining Krishna is the only solution. Mam upetyatu konteya punarjanmana vidyate. But anybody who remembers me attains my nature. So this translation is wrong of this 8.16. But what Krishna is saying, once you attain me, then punarjanma na vidyate. Then only punarjanma is not given. Then aprapyamma nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. 9.3 verse also Krishna reiterate this point, that if you don't attain me, then you are forced to return to the mrityu samsara vartmani, where there is a material world where there is repeated birth. Anything anybody want to share about this aspect कि मुक्ति चाहिए या जन्म मृत्यु के संसार चक्कर से बाहर निकलना है? Anybody who has heard this and has found people practicing anything specific to actually attain this? Anybody would like to share anything, any thoughts about these verses? Yes, Vikas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So actually, I perceive it in terms of the mercy of Krishna. Actually, means he is making us available the liberation of the cycle from birth and death at a very discounted rate. It's even I was actually reading 13.26, where Krishna comes down to this stage that even if you are hearing Krishna kathas from an elevated devotee, you can come out of the cycle of birth and death. So it was that wonderful. So the prayer we offer that Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpati. So it remembered me that how much merciful Krishna is. So these all are verses are the live example of that. That just merely engaging in my devotional service, you can attain the liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And even otherwise, if you are going in the 14 planetary system also, you will be finding this cycle of birth and death. So there is no use of engaging in the worship of other demigods or in other dhyan yogas and all the other yogas explained by Krishna till 6th chapter. So it's always better. And this 9.3 verse, Krishna has also perfectly has spoken to us that you should be actually faithful. Means otherwise this will be this will be your direction. Means you will be going there. The someone who is not faithful in Krishna, he can never attain him. So there is no point being unfaithful to him, and there is no point to be deviating from the bhakti yoga. Means rather we should leave everything else, which Krishna concludes somewhere in 18.66 chapter. That is, and mostly quoted by Srila Prabhupada also. So he is saying that you just do my devotional service. So it is that simple. Means there is no complexity left in life. That we just need to get engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, and everything will be taken care of by him. There some siddhi paramam gati that in 8:15 Krishna is telling, and we won't be returning to this temporary and miserable world. So means we I don't have the particular word in my dictionary that we use that hats off to Krishna. So it's some kind of the superlative degree word is there that can be used to Krishna, that you are the most merciful to the fallen souls. So that is my actually
yeah, very nice, very nicely mentioned. Because yes, I mean that giving a goal is easy, but giving means to achieve that goal, that show his mercy, and that he's explaining how easy it can be, is clarifying it, going in greater details to us, so that objective is to make us doubt free. Objective is to make us free from doubt, so that we can practice bhakti wholeheartedly. And when we take up bhakti wholeheartedly, then Krishna says, then dadami buddhi yogam tvam yena mam upayanti te. So then he's prepared to even give us additional more intelligence, more anything that what we lack, he can provide us with. So we'll talk about those verses as well. We move progress further. We have 2 more slides to go after this, so we'll try and complete this. One comment on this, if anybody wish to share. So this is 9.10th verse, Maya Dhakshana Prakriti. Again, this is then Krishna is supreme and only worshipable object for all of us. So this is kind of a reiteration of what Krishna has spoken in past, in the previous couple of chapters, where Krishna says that Maya Dhakshana Prakriti Suyate Se Characharam, but everything is happening under me, under my supervision. So if anybody is getting bad results, they are all sanctioned by Krishna ultimately. They are sanctioned by Durga Devi, who is managing this Durga, this material world, but she works under Krishna's supervision. So nothing is Krishna is completely aware of whatever is happening to us, and he is though he has sanctioned it, he has not desired it. And he want all of us to come back to him. That's what his motive is ultimately. So so what does devotees do? Devotees satata kirtayanto mam yatantascha dradavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So always chanting my glories, elevating, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down. So endeavoring with great determination implies that devotees will also face troubles. Now some troubles can come to them by their past karma, and some troubles can come by will of Krishna, because it could be a part of the pastime. Say Srila Prabhupada facing so many reversals is part of pastime, because Prabhupada is not an ordinary soul. But we facing, we forgetting to get up in the morning, and our alarm, we hit snooze and sleep more in the morning. It's because of our bad karma. We are not able to be disciplined. So सतत कीर्तयन्तो माम वो हो नहीं पा रहा है, ये हमारा lacking है. We're lacking in that our own endeavor. Ananyas चिंतयन्तो माम ये जना पारुपासते तेषाम नित्य अभियुक्तानाम योगक्षेम वहाम्यहम. Krishna is saying that he's giving more and more commitments in this section, that he gives what you lack, and he protects what you have. So he is going overboard. Once he sees somebody accepting him as the object of worship, Krishna is ready to go out of his way to help us. And the same will be explained in the another 3 verses that Kaunteya Pratijanehi Name Bhakta Pranishati. Again, the same mood. Yat Karoshi, Yat Ashnoshi, Yat Johoshi, Dadasi, Yat Krishna saying, whatever you are doing, do it as an offering for me, because nothing is yours. Everything is mine, and you are also mine. So, but you use things for your pleasure, for your survival, subsistence while you are operating in this world. But do it as an offering to me, so that you will be free from karma. You will not get any reaction. Sammoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi teshu chapyaham. That I can favor to those who choose me as their object of worship, who choose me as their object of love. I will favor them because they love me. I will love them. And similarly, that same verse 4.11, ye yatha mam prapadyante. So as you reciprocate, as if you develop love for me, if you develop a desire to attain me, I will develop a desire to love you as well. I will go out of my way to help you. I will favor you. Now I'm generally equal to all. I'm not partial to anyone. But if you start loving me, I will start loving you back. I will start doing things for you. I will become your friend, and you are also you also will become friend to me. And Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Kaunteya Pratijanehi Name Bhakta Pranishta. I will ensure that, O Arjuna, my devotees will never perish. So, any quick thoughts, quick comment from anyone on this, or we can move to the next section. I think we'll go to the next section. We'll close this section today. Just stay back for a couple of more minutes. So, in the parampara, importance of humbly hearing in the parampara. Prabhupada mentioned in the verse, purport to verse 10.12 and 13, that here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept statements of these 2 verses. Now we are talking about the 2 verses that Arjuna spoke, where Arjuna is glorifying Krishna, that you are supreme, you are Parabrahma, you are you are the purest, you are the best, and all those glorification that Arjuna has spoken. Prabhupada is commenting on those 2 verses, that it is possible to glorify Krishna also because of the mercy of Krishna. So this is called parampara system, or acceptance of disciplic succession. Unless one is in disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literature, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Arjuna herein confirmed that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. Krishna, he is not known even by demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that supreme truth is Krishna and he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated by all of us. Then we can understand that the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only we understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And when we understand that, we will surrender to Krishna. We will give ourselves to Krishna. We will offer ourselves to Krishna. We will worship Krishna. We will love Krishna. And when we do that, all the previous things will happen automatically. So what we need to do, to summarize, we need to follow the footsteps of Arjuna and accept whatever instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Seek devotee guidance to know how this can be implemented in our life. Why? Because all of us are in unique situations. What we speak from this platform is general information, but how this can be applied in individual life can become a one-to-one conversation. And the example often is given, that of Dhruva Maharaj. then Dhruva Maharaj was leaving his kingdom. His mother, he was insulted by his stepmother, and he was furious. And his mother told him to go and seek guidance from Vishnu. Only he can solve your problem. And then he was going towards jungle in a rage, and then he met Narad Muni. Now Narad Muni is astonished to see this 5-year-old boy getting angry at his stepmother, and he wants to now meet Vishnu to understand, to discuss this problem and seek solution from him. So Narad Muni start talking with him, and he tell him that, okay, you are a 5-year-old small boy. Why you take that kind of an insult so seriously? There are 5-year-old boy, 10-year-old, just small children who fight every day, who fight in the day, and by evening, they are again playing together. So for children, why it should so matter? Why this kind of an insult should matter to you so much? Why you're taking it so seriously? If you are a child, you are actually a 5-year-old child. So why you're taking it so seriously? Also, if you consider yourself as an elevated person, you don't consider yourself as a 5-year-old baby boy, but you think yourself as a great person, as a great learned person. Uh, a great person should see equally the honor and insult equally. So a great person, the sign of great person is one who see honor and insult equally. Then why you are agitated with that also? So in either of the situation, you should not be angry unnecessarily. Why you want to go to the jungle? Then Dhruva Maharaj gives a very nice answer. He agrees with the instructions what Narad Muni is giving. He says what you are saying is correct. However, in my given condition, I am a Kshatriya, and I have Kshatriya blood inside me. So by nature, I cannot tolerate insult. Now I'm very furious. I'm no, I should not be as a 5-year-old boy, and I know if I'm consider myself as a great learned scholar, I should still not be angry because of what you have just said. However, my Kshatriya blood inside me is boiling, and in my current situation, I am unable to follow your instructions. So please guide me. Tell me something more. And then Narad Muni accept this difficult situation of Dhruva, and he customize his solution to him. He allows him to go. He gives him a Guru Mantra and allows him to go and perform austerities. But this customization was done because of the revelation by Dhruva that he's unable to follow the instruction as Narad Muni is giving. Now this is important. This is an important part of conversation between the devotee and their guide. That we all can get instructions, but what if we are not able to follow certain instructions? We are finding it difficult in our given circumstances, given it could be our own shortfall in giving up our attachments to certain things, certain events, certain people, certain food habits, certain, it could be anything, certain deity worship also. Some people are very attached to some deities. So we should seek guidance how to overcome those shortcomings of ours, because of which are preventing us from implementing the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in our life and getting benefited out of it. So ananya chetaha satatam yomam smrati nityashaha. So for that to happen, tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, for this to happen, we should be free from doubt. We should be free from our other attachments, which all we might have cultivated over years in this life or in previous lives, but we are bringing them we're carrying them with ourselves. And so hence this conversation with our devotee, with our guide, is extremely important to resolve these issues, to see if there can be a second way out, how best in my situation, how best I can apply these instructions. So knowing instructions is one thing, having a desire to apply them in our life is another thing. Seeking guidance in this direction is third thing, and acting on the advice given is fourth thing. And we should be doing all the four things. So practice with faith, wholeheartedly, with full sincerity and commitment. And what will happen? What will be the outcome? With knowledge and practice, the changes will occur in our life for our purification. Now, as we accept more instructions, as we apply more things in our life, we will become purified, and that will change us. That will change us internally and also externally. Externally, people will find us that you are a changed person. You're not the same person where I used to know 2 years back. And that is because of the purification. That is because of the constant contact that we are establishing with Krishna. The more we establish our connection with Krishna, more deeper connection that we establish with Krishna, the faster the purification will work on us. And it will give us better intelligence, better free will, to discriminate and regulate our senses, make right choices in our day-to-day life. It will give us peace of mind, no matter how situation is. Our peace of mind will not be disturbed. We will be knowledgeable. We will be peaceful in knowledge that everything happens with the sanction of Krishna. I will mitigate, I will accept every situation, every outcome that is offered to me. I will I will accept whatever is offered to me. I will mitigate, do my best to in every situation to perform my duty, and I will tolerate at times whatever the if the things still don't improve, then I will tolerate. And I will tolerate knowing, no, not knowing that I'm weak, knowing that this is will of Krishna, this is sanction of Krishna, and this time will also change, and Krishna has my best interest in his mind. So that will be that will give us peace of mind, and we will be happy. In connection, Krishna is the ocean of happiness, ever increasing ocean of happiness, and the process of Krishna consciousness is also similar to that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrutam Sadhanam. That it's a Ambudhi means ocean, an ocean of happiness. Ananda Ambudhi. Ananda Ambudhi means ocean of Ananda, happiness. Uh, Vardhanam Pratipadam, it's growing, ever increasing. Pratipadam, at every step it increases. So there's no endless happiness. So that is what the Krishna consciousness is. The when more contact we establish with Krishna through different processes of devotional service, by taking up different, by adapting different activities of Krishna consciousness in our day-to-day life, starting with chanting in the morning, eating, cooking food for Krishna, purchasing food for Krishna, deity worship, eating prasad, and reading scriptures, meeting devotees, visiting temples, visiting yatras, visiting dham, and calling devotees at home, visiting devotees home, talking with them, revealing our heart to them, sharing our problems with them, listening to their advice, and doing all these activities. We are connected with Krishna. We are connected with Krishna and his words and his philosophy and his devotees. And this will give us immense happiness, immense spiritual joy in every situation of life. So this is anyway the ultimate goal with which the whole world is running, to be happy. These two facilities that we have for chanting in the morning, reading sessions in the evening, we hope all of you can join those every day. Tasyam tesham satata yuktanam, that every day it has to be done. So we end today's session now, and we will go to any question answer if anybody may have.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So as you were explaining all the verses and all the meaning and discussions were going on, so I could remember the first verse of Chaitanya Sixastakam that goes that Cheto Darpan Marjanam. So you are trying to, means your endeavors are that high that you are trying to do that you are, but I myself feel that my Darpan is that dirty that will take a very much longer time. But though your efforts are just wonderful, which makes us blissful every Sunday. So I just want to thank you for all your blissful efforts, all your all-hearted efforts to just clean our mirror, so that our consciousness can perceive Krishna as Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, about his various energies and about various how we can perceive him. So it is always blissful to be in your session, and thank you. I just want to thank you for that, and just keep endeavoring so that we, the people like us, can become Krishna conscious one day. And I am sure that with your efforts, we will definitely be one day in the line of Krishna conscious person. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
And
Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm not worthy of those, but I accept them on behalf of our acharyas. Swapnil Prabhu, you want to say something?
Prabhu, just one dilemma. Probably we are attending this session to come out of a lot of dilemmas. I always think that going through and learning more about Bhagavatam, about Krishna consciousness, and the nectar you pour into our into this session, we get a lot of insights. But it also creates a lot of because I think that we are not so intelligent right now. We have not attained the highest level of intelligence, and a lot of questions come into our mind. So my dilemma is it okay to have those questions? And because it all says that it will take time to get converted into 100% Krishna consciousness, because the questions keep on coming and you are keep on trying to answer those questions either through the sessions, or are directly asking you a question, or putting your own intelligence and understanding the system. So is it okay to have questions in our mind? That was the dilemma.
Yeah, so the questions will be there because when we hear a message with an intent to apply in our day-to-day life, then it is very obvious we have questions. It's like when we hear a recipe, when we hear about a recipe and which we want to perform after 10 minutes. 10 minutes we hear about somebody explain us a recipe, and then we write that down, and then we supposed to go to kitchen and do that. Now this kind of a thing will give us a lot of questions because because now we are not hearing it as a recipe which we don't have to act upon. Now we are also having an intention to act on the instructions given by Krishna. So that is what give rise to the questions. And as I explained in case of Dhruva Maharaj, that every person's life is unique. Every person's situation is unique. The instructions are common, but they need to be the devotee, in the conversation with the devotees, we seek explanation to apply every instruction in our life in given current time, place, and circumstances. And it could be so there are general instructions, and then there could be some customization done that according to the situation that all of us might be facing today. So it is okay to have questions. It is necessary that we have questions. That only shows that we are thinking on the instructions that we are receiving, and we are trying to apply them to our life. Similar to this example can be think of a map, that if you're given a map, you will want to know everything about that map, so you will have a lot of questions. But if you are given a map on which you don't intend to travel, you will not have any questions, isn't it? So similarly, since you are trying to apply the philosophy in our life, in our day-to-day life, we are getting questions, and that is only sign of a proper listening. That's only indication of proper hearing, and that's encouraged. That should be encouraged. That must be encouraged. And we are so happy that you're having those questions. But having those questions now, next step is to seek answers. So at times you can try and apply your own learnings on to solve those dilemmas if you get only. But it can be best if you can bounce it off to somebody and get those thoughts from them as well, hear others also. So that will be safer if you could do that. But it's good to have questions. It will be good to list out those questions also from time to time, and then you can have some sessions individually to be able to discuss those questions and seek some answers. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Okay. Sorry, we are gone past 17 minutes past 1 o'clock. So that's a long session that we've had today. But yeah, sincerely hope. Yes, Prabhuji.
Before you just end the class, I would request the devotees just to pay our obeisances to you by chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare
Please,
Krishna.
all of you unmute yourself. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Kind of it.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kumar Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Kumar Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji.